Hello, good morning. Today we will run about our subject part, that is Java technology. It is a part of first unit, but actually it is a whole content, sir. It is a whole content. Let me give you the brief. How this Java evolved itself, and I am going to reference you this book. The complete reference Java for our study. You know and I am referencing this book because I came across that people usually right nowadays people usually don't use books, but I love books, so I used to refer that, and I will take this in my lecture also to give you that and how much I am connected towards this book. Now in the Java language, how will we proceed? We will have some prototype, and prototype is like this. We will first of all understand the history and evolution of Java. दूसरा, an overview of Java. These things usually don't come in any competitive examinations, but these things come into our university questions as a university questions. What is the history and evolution of Java technology? Overview of Java technology. Then we will go for data types, variables, and arrays. So then we will go for data type, variables, and arrays. Then we will have our operators. Okay. Then we will have our control statements. These are some fundamental things. And the AKTU questions focuses on these 5 topics as well. So we will understand the Java technology in perspective of our university examination and how these questions come. How this question come. Now, first of all, understand how this technology come into the existence. Why any technology come into this existence? The reason behind to any technology to come into the existence is to make sure the existing problem, what was occurring in that era, is taken in account. Java technology was based on the object-oriented concepts, and it was supposed to be one of the pure object-oriented language. And in fact, people try to put most efficient things in this programming language, which was gathered with the past experience of the programming. We have a COBOL, Pascal, C, C++, Lotus, many technologies. What the few they just understand the thing, they analyze the thing, they research the thing, and came across these few points that okay, with the help of new technology, we can address those problems, that area, and can expand the developing domain to the layman's also, and why? To make the layman understand about the program. Why? Because some few changes, like some errors comes into the program and people lose their heart while programming. So to handle that, we have our exception handling in this Java technology. Sometimes a memory management is a very much an issue. How the memory managed in C, C, C++, we have malloc, calloc and all. So here we take this like a garbage collector. These are the few properties which usually implemented which was usually implemented on forecasting to implement in a new technology at that time, in 90s. In 90s, one more arena was coming in the domain, the connectivity, the internet. In 90s, we got our www, World Wide Web. So Java need to evolve as a technology which also supports that thing as well. So this is what a thing. But how this Java got a first phase is like this. We need to understand. Initially, we have we have color TV. Let's say color TV ABC 1.1. Then when this is a color TV name and this is color TV. So in any color TV we have our computer chip and it is modeled as a ABC 1.1. Okay. Now understand this. In the second point we have, let us assume we are going for its upgradation. Okay, we have ABC 1.2. We have ABC 1.2. In this upgradation, we are not able to. One thing to be noted: the chip will be also upgraded, and its whole programming domain need to address from scratch. Mean to say that you first of all go with this chipset from scratch, and also from in this chipset from scratch. So it consumes our lot of time. Consumes our lot of time. So the developer of this Java technology, was thinking, why not we develop a thing from which we can reuse the programming of this ABC 1.1 in ABC 1.2. This was one of the main reason, to improvise Java as a technology. One of the main reasons. We will understand in more depth with the help of our book and its content. Let's move. The history and evolution of Java. Understand this line, very important line. Java one must understand reason behind this creation, the forces. We need to understand the reason first of all, have this in your mind. Then the forces that shapes it and the legacy that it inherits. Okay, like the successful computer language come before Java is a blend of best element of its rich heritage. Now, one should have this points in his mind. What is rich heritage? What is meaning of this legacy? What is the thing that reason it? What are the forces? These are the points. What thing this inherits is all about. How this thing is shaped. That is something. So we will go for this 5 points. Why we need Java? What were the forces that what are the forces that shape Java? What legacy it inherits, and what is meaning of rich heritage? Understand this point. So I'm just putting this here. Reasons, Java, reasons, forces, legacy, inherits. And rich heritage. Okay, this is the thing. This is the thing what we have. Let us assume. So now we need to understand what is the reason we need this language. What are the forces which push this language into the market? What is legacy has, how it is heritage, and how it is having a rich heritage. So moving with this concept, have these points in your mind. Let's go ahead. First of all, understand why computer languages need to be, what basic things computer languages need to understand. Computer language innovation and development two fundamental reasons. पहला, to adapt to changing environment and uses to implement refinements and improvements So, any computer language innovation and development occurs for two fundamental reasons. One should understand. First of all, to adapt in changing environment. Right now we have Python and all. How this Python is adapting itself in the changing environment by pushing its instruction set very small, and with the help of this data we are able to manage the data, and we gets its implementation with the refinements and improvement in the art of programming. Okay, in the refinements and improvements in the art of programming. To adapt to changing environment and uses, to implement refinements and improvements in the art of programming. Let's move ahead. One should understand why these things, what the innovation and development is there. Let's understand what is the legacy this man. So first of all, we counter this thing. What is the reason? Reason is we understand why we need a new programming language. Now we will go for legacy part. So for that we will understand what are the Java lineage actually. So C++ is direct descendant of C language. C++ is direct descendant of C language. Okay. Java inherits this part. Inherits. Java inherits best of both languages. From C, Java derive syntax. And many object-oriented features is influenced by Java. Is influenced by C++. So syntax is from C and object oriented feature is from C++. So to understand this diagram again, C++ is a direct descendant of C. Okay, Java is having a lineage of both languages C and C++. Okay, from the C it takes syntax. Java inherits syntax. From C++, Java inherit object-oriented features. Okay, I think you are able to understand this. So this was the legacy part. We understand reason. We understand inheritance, we understand which heritage, we understand the forces behind this Java language. Okay, let's move ahead. I am taking this class in a very easy manner, from which people understand. I think in on internet things are available, but what I think, this is a gap analysis what I have done and putting these things on the table. Some points we need to understand. Java defining characteristics come from or are responses to its predecessors. So Java defining characteristics come from or are response to its predecessors. Predecessors are C and C++. Java was deeply rooted in the process of refinement. Now, to understand the basic characteristics from predecessors, Java development still was in the process of refinement and adoption. So Java refined the legacy and adapt new ways. What they refine, what they adapt, we will understand in our coming lecture. One major statement what I came across in this book. So each innovation in language design was driven by to need the solve a fundamental problem that the preceding language, here the preceding languages are C, C++. So whatever the problem structure was coming in these languages, people try to solve this new innovation known as Java. Okay, this is what I want to rate here. Each innovation in language design was driven by the need to solve fundamental problems that the preceding language could not solve. That is, the Java is no exception. What I have written out here is that Java development is also inspired by the fundamental problems what C and C++ have, and they address those problems and solve it. What I will tell you in the initial of the lecture as well. In any programming development, we have some trade-offs. Okay, computer languages designing test trade-offs. When new programming language come into existence, what we need to take care is whether the programming is of ease of use or it is powerful. Whether the programming language is safe or whether it must be efficient. Whether the programming language should be very rigid or it must have some this property, extensibility property. So this versus is giving a trade-offs actually. What we need to follow? Either we go for the ease of use or power. Either we go for the safety or efficiency. Either we go for the rigidity or extensibility. These are the points we need to take care when we develop a programming language. Now we are gunning for new Java technology. We are gunning for the new Java technology and new Java language. So what else we need to take care? What else we need to take care? Now, something written in this book that prior to C, programmers usually have to choose between the languages just optimized one set of traits to another. We are talking about those previous thing, that ease of use versus power. Second, it is safety versus efficiency. Third is rigidity versus extensibility. See why I'm taking this book in front of him reading, because I came across that you people don't read books. Without reading books, you will not able to understand core concepts. Please, I request you all. Okay, the materials are available on internet. Please go through books. They are very organized set of knowledge. Okay. Prior to C, programmers usually had to choose between the languages, optimize one set of traits or the another. For example, although Fortran could be efficient to write fairly efficient programs for scientific application, it was not very good for system code. And while Fortran was efficient program but not good for the system code. Let's understand this. Fortran was a programming language, still a programming language. So it was fairly efficient for fairly but Fortran, it is not good for the system codes. Now this is what a property of Fortran language was. Fortran was fairly efficient program for the scientific application, but it was not good for the system code. Let's understand some property of the BASIC. It is also a programming language. Basic, I had understand basic in my 6th 7th class. It was a very easy to understand language. So this programming language was easy to learn, was not very powerful, and lack of structure is, they have a lack of a structure and usefulness. That's why we now this programming language was always in question for development of the large programs like ERP and all. Next is now one more programming language is always present within our computers, but we don't know. That is the assembly language. Assembly language is always present in our motherboard, always. So assembly language can be used to produce highly efficient programs. But it is not easy to learn or use effectively. One more point with was assembly language was that its debugging was not easy. Okay, so we understand about Fortran, we understand about basic. Let's understand about the assembly language a little bit. Assembly language can be used to produce highly efficient programs, but it is not easy to learn. One must understand the old programming languages to understand the new languages very well, or use effectively. Debugging assembly code can be quite difficult. Now, what is debugging? Two things you need to understand. These points that I know. What really a debugging is all about. I think you know. You're in the third year of your class, you know. But you also know my assembly language as it is used in the microprocessors. What was the one more very important problem in these programming languages was, let understand, either language basic or COBOL or Fortran. These were right on the right on the principle of structured principles, structured programming language. These were the structured programming language. So, in the structured programming language, we have go-to statement, okay, and it is used for the So, But Goto was the primary means of program code, and it is used to control the program. Okay. So, but this controlling give us spaghetti code. I think you understand noodle types, mixed code. We are not able to understand where it is starting and where it is going. No, a mass of tangled. Jumps and conditions. How it is works actually, we have code go to will decide go in this statement. Okay, go to will decide go to this statement. Go to will decide go to this statement. Now this figure is giving us mass of tangled jumps and conditional branches. This is what one of the basic problem in structured programming, or you can say that structured principles, from which we get a spaghetti code, mass of tangled jumps and conditional branches, and code was not very clean. Word is clean. Mostly people were not able to understand how the code is working. Mostly the people were not able to understand how this code is working. Okay, so this was the main reason. One should understand this. Why object oriented programming come into their existence, and people accept it because of this. Go to statement is creating a mess of tangled jumps and conditional branches, and with the young programmers or programming enthusiast was not able to understand something. Okay, this is the 10-liner statement, we are able to gauge what is there, what is there. Assume when it is a 4,000 lines of code. It is tough, very tough. Okay, let's move ahead. In 1970, according to the text what I have, need of softwares rises. So academic institutions were forced to go for some programming language which help us in this. So stage for the C was set, and C was invented first implemented by Dennis Ritchie on DEC PDP 11. So this was the thing, how it is invented and how the stage was set for the C and how Dennis Ritchie has done the job. But one need to understand it also well. Before the C, though people were in the business to get some new programming languages. Oh, okay. C was the first of this development process that started with an older language called BCPL. So BCPL, how we get C? They're developed by Martin Richards. So BCPL was developed by Martin Richards. Okay. BCPL influenced by called B language. So BCPL was influenced by B language. Invented by Ken Thompson. Okay. So C was implemented by Dennis Ritchie, but it has its history. Development process, with the arising need of softwares we have in the process, we go for B. B. Ken Thompson sir has invented B. Then B was, get B was more developed, and implemented as a BCPL. Finally, C came into existence when the Dennis Ritchie sir implemented it on PDP 11, with a new operating system known as Unix. So, and for the many years, the C was a de facto standard. For the many years, C was a de facto standard for the programming development. And one book was also there, the C programming language of Bram Cunningham and Dennis Ritchie. C was the formally standardized in 1989. C language after, this 1970 development. In 1989, we got a standards of C language, you know, which was accepted by the whole world, from which this software development become easy. The software development part becomes easy because we have now our agency known as the American National Standard Institute, ANSI, and ANSI has given the set of standards which needs to be adopted by the all software development community. Okay. So why I focus this history so much? Because C was the one of the main reason which helps us to understand the modern programming languages. Modern programming languages, and the age of the modern programming languages rise from here. So here it has been written that it has successfully synthesized the conflict-linked attribute that has covered earlier languages. What is synthesized? Okay. The result was powerful, efficient structural language that was easy to learn. So C has synthesized this earlier languages. So what was the result? It was powerful, efficient, structured language. That was relatively easy to learn. Or in the meantime, C become a programmer's language. And this C, it can give us academic exercises and can give us software some solution to bureaucratic committees as well. See, that's why still it's from its development 1970. C is still very valid language till date. Okay, and with the help of the C, we understand the real working environment in our academic academic learning as well. Now we understand that the basic implementation of the C was to develop a software. Okay. So it was attracted by the programmer, and when the programmer attracts, the programmer was aware of their syntax. Every programmer right in their 90s or 70s or 80s will understand the syntax of this C language. So developer of Java take the syntax of C, this single statement. I need to go for this much of the lecture to make you understand why Java takes syntax of C. This is the reason. This all B language, BCP, and all those development by rapid need to make softwares. People were asking for it. We need software development academic exercises in bureaucratic committees as well. And we got our language C, which was powerful, efficient, structured, and was also easy to learn. So this programming language was a synthesis of the earlier languages, what we have discussed, Fortran, Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, and all. This is where the structured programming languages. And those we have go for we have understand the Fortran and BASIC. Those were the structured programming languages, and those C synthesize many things from that. Make up a new invention of a programming language, and that programming language was implemented out here. Okay, and that programming language is implemented, and which were taken by new programmers hand to hand, and most of the software development at the time of the 80s were taken care by this, in initial of the 90s as well. 80s, mainly 80s development were focused on the C. In the 90s we have our C++ as well. We will talk on the next lecture. So finally, this lecture is all dedicated to make you understand why the Java syntax is in C is in a like a C language syntax. Okay, I hope I make you understand this. Enjoy your journey in programming language. We will next lecture we will understand how C++ affect our Java language. Okay, let's move ahead.